The movies that time forgot. Welcome back. This is my second edition of Movies That Time Forgot. I shot the first episode in like mid 2019 there, so a lot of time has passed. I've been really busy between then and now. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Let's get into the movie. This is episode 2, and today I'm going to be talking about Miracle Mile.
Miracle Mile.
Listen, I'm just a guy who picked up the phone.
From 1989, directed by Steve DeJarnett, who was, I apologize if I mispronounced that. He was the director of Cherry 2000. Cherry 2000 was a cult film starring Melanie Griffith. It was kind of like a futuristic, post-apocalyptic movie, but this is the same director of Cherry 2000. Stars Anthony Edwards, Mare Winningham, and a whole assortment cast of colorful character actors. So I first came across this movie way back in the day, like high school or just after high school. There was a television network called the Scream Network, and they would host and broadcast mostly horror movies and sci-fi movies. And they aired this, and the pitch was this random guy receives a random phone call from a phone booth. He answers it, and on the other end is this random stranger who's frantic. He's in like a missile silo in Colorado or some such place, and he's like, there's a nuke. There's a nuke heading towards where you are right now in LA, and you've got like not 90 minutes to get the hell out of there. And then all of a sudden, he hears on the other end, he hears someone coming in. He hears gunshots. He hears the guy on the phone drop dead. Then someone else picks up the phone and says, forget everything you heard and go back to bed. Click.
Who am I? Listen, I'm just a guy who picked up the phone.
That was the little trailer they cut together, and then that was it. And I remember thinking, holy crap, that's a good premise. I gotta see this movie. And eventually I watched it when they broadcast it on the Scream Network. My friends watched it, and it was great. We had never seen anything like it before. It was very unique and original. So the film starts off, this guy, he's kind of a loner. He played by Anthony Edwards. He meets this girl he falls in love with, Mare Winningham. They hit it off really well, and then one night he's supposed to pick her up at the diner where she works for a date. And he sleeps in by accident, and he misses her. She goes back to her apartment, and like I said, he's outside having a cigarette, and then someone calls up on the phone, and Anthony Edwards is freaking out, like, oh my god, like, is that true? Is it real or not? And in the diner, there's all these characters, and it just so happens that one of the patrons, one of the customers in the diner. And this is where you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. In fact, a lot of the movie you have to just kind of just go with it. But one of the people in the restaurant just happens to know exactly what Anthony Edwards is talking about and can confirm that, okay, this could actually be happening. And the whole movie and the movie's not very long. It's only like, it's 87 minutes. So it's just under 90 minutes. And the whole movie is basically Anthony Edwards. And he gets all these people in the diner involved, and he basically gets the ball rolling, and he starts this panic among people. And the movie is basically, you know what it is? It's a serious adult version of Chicken Little. He finds something out, or he thinks something, and he doesn't know if it's true or not. He doesn't know if it's happening or not, and he creates mass panic, mass hysteria. No one really knows if it's true or not, but they believe it is. Anthony Edwards and some of these characters find out that there is actually a helicopter on the top of a skyscraper that's going to take a certain handful of people to safety, because apparently there are other people that have received the same phone call or whatever. So Anthony Edwards and everyone else, is basically a race against time to try to get to this helipad, try to get to this helicopter and take off. And then Anthony Edwards decides, okay, look, if this is going to happen, if this is really happening, he's got to go get his girlfriend, Mare Winningham. The movie is basically him trying to get to her, and then both of them trying to get to that helicopter to get out of there. And along the way, he comes across all these different quirky characters, and he gets them involved, and he tells them, and then they start panicking, and it just, it's like Chinese telephone. You tell one person, they tell the other, and they tell the other, and the word just spreads. Spoilers, by the way. There's going to be spoilers for this movie and another movie that I'm going to talk about. By like the third act, all hell breaks loose, and pretty much all of LA is in an uproar. I mean, everyone is just panicking. People are eating each other. People are, killing each other. And then the audience starts to think that, okay, what if this is all a hoax? Or what if this, what if Anthony Edwards has just started pure chaos for nothing? You have that level of uncertainty.
You said it would have happened already by now, if it was, right?
Yeah, but I could still be Chicken Little.
Anyway, him and Mare Winningham, they finally get to the helipad, they get to the chopper, and spoilers, like I've said, sure enough, a nuke is headed for LA. Actually, a few nukes. And the nukes hit. Unfortunately, the helicopter doesn't take off soon enough. The helicopter crashes in the La Brea tar pits, and Anthony Edwards and Mare Winningham are stuck in this helicopter, slowly drowning while all of LA is in a blaze, and they die. That is all she wrote. That's seriously the movie. I'm not exaggerating or joking. That's how it ends. That's it. It's definitely downbeat, and yet at the same time, I kind of admire. It's very straightforward. It delivers what it promises. It's like, yeah, we could have a cheesy happy ending, but to hell with it. Let's just nuke LA like we said we're going to do, and everyone dies. So I remember when I first saw that, I was just like, wow, like that's 87 minutes of just pure chaos, and then the nuke hits and everyone dies, and that's it. Like, it's bold. So and speaking of which, I wonder like how this played out in theaters in 1989. I wonder how audiences took to it. So this is the Blu-ray copy by Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber is another distribution company that restores and releases old movies from like the last 80-90 years on Blu-ray and DVD. It looks really good on Blu-ray, and yeah, if you like this movie, get yourself a copy. I recommend this particular set. Okay, so here's something I want to talk about. I want to talk about another particular movie, and it's spoilers again for both movies. I saw Miracle Mile first on TV. Then a little movie came out called Cloverfield. So I saw Cloverfield in theaters, and I really enjoyed Cloverfield. But when the movie was done and I was on my way home, it was so similar to another movie. I kept thinking about it, Cloverfield. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this movie before. And it hit me. I'm like, that was Miracle Mile. And I will show you. I'm gonna do one of those kind of nerdy comparison videos that I've seen a lot of critics do. I apologize if you're not a fan of those. I mean, they're both about this guy who's in love with this girl who is either just meets a girl or just breaks up with the girl. The MacGuffin happens. In Cloverfield, it's a giant monster that comes out of the sea. In Miracle Mile, it's a nuke. Both of which take place in a major American city. Both movies are basically disaster movies. People trying to get out and survive. Both main characters are told about an evacuation and a helicopter at a helipad that's going to take out a handful of survivors to get out of the city. In Miracle Mile, the helicopter is on the top of the roof. It's going to take people away from the nuke. In Cloverfield, it's to take people out of New York City because the giant monster is about to get cluster striked. When the main character learns of this in both movies, he decides to go pick up his girlfriend, who just happens to be in an apartment building. In Miracle Mile, the girl is asleep in her apartment building. In Cloverfield, it's his ex-girlfriend. She's trapped in her apartment building. Both said characters actually make it to the helicopter in time, get in the helicopter, take off. In mid-flight, the insert here destroys the helicopter. The helicopter crashes with both love interests in the helicopter, the guy and the girl. This causes the two characters to be stranded in the middle of this disaster, alone together, and they both die together. And that's the end of both movies, and that is all she wrote. I was a little ticked off at Cloverfield because I remember thinking to myself, like, that's just Miracle Mile all over again, but with a different MacGuffin. Now I don't really give a shit. They're both They're both entertaining movies. Which is better? Which one did it better? I'll let you decide. You tell me in the comments. The director of Miracle Mile, Steve DeJarnett, he only did these 2 movies, Cherry 2000 and Miracle Mile. I think he has been doing television work, like a lot of TV episodes and stuff like that. And it's a shame because I enjoyed both movies. They're both cult classics, and I would have loved to have seen him do more. I would have loved to have seen him get into much bigger budget films. In conclusion and closing, so my rating system is going to be very simple. It's going to be out of 5 stars. I'm going to give Miracle Mile, I'm going to give it a 3. A 3 out of 5. It's not great, but it is really entertaining. It is unique. It is very suspenseful. There are things that are just very coincidental and circumstantial that you just kind of have to go with it. Like, okay, there are things that would never happen, but are very convenient to the plot. You shut your brain off. It's a good popcorn movie. Okay, so I'm going to introduce a new little part to my rating system. Should the movies that I talk about on this program, should they be given a second chance? Should they be remembered or forgotten? Miracle Mile, I'm going to say, should be remembered. It should be checked out. It is a little dated. It's got some cheesiness to it, but I wouldn't say it should be forgotten. You got a lot of hidden gems out there, and I think Miracle Mile is definitely a hidden gem. So that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for hearing me out. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a recommendation. Is there something you would like me to check out? Is there something that you would like for me to rate and review? Definitely subscribe and stay tuned because I've got some more on the way. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.